its North Sea installations. Its regional president says the economic climate is forcing the company to take steps to remain competitive. He added that BP will do what it can to help those who face redundancy. Well, joining me now to take a closer look at the issue of falling oil prices is economist and author Naz Saleem. Of course, despite seeing some of these job losses, some people, of course, are saying that oil prices dropping is actually good news. So, and of course, others are saying exactly the opposite. So, what are we to believe here?
I mean, for the whole country, yes, it's a good news. Yes, for Britain, the oil price coming down, yes, that's going to be good news.
Because
Definitely.
the consumer wants that,
Consumer
and I suppose
wants that.
also it keeps inflation low, and that
Exactly.
encourages consumer spending.
But for Scotland, it's going to be bad news. I mean, 3,500 jobs, BP alone, isn't it? We talk about 10%, almost 10% of the GDP in Scotland coming from oil, and 100,000 people employed. So that means it's going to have a real effect on the Scottish economy.
But the oil industry's really enjoyed a boom, hasn't it? Surely it made enough profits to think of contingency plans.
I mean, compared to last year, I mean, just look at it, over 120 pounds or dollars, $110, and now we are talking about $46 a barrel.
Did people see that coming, though?
I don't think so. Nobody expected that, isn't it? I mean, it's really funny in some way, I don't know. But that's good news. I'll tell you, I'm optimistic to some extent, because Saudis are very careful over here. They don't want to let the oil price go down below 40.
Why not?
It's going to hurt the economy, because, 70% of the GDP, I mean, not only the GDP, even the revenue coming from oil.
Yeah, but is it the Saudis actually doing this because they want to attack the US fracking industry?
That is, yeah, that's correct, because they want to really kill the fracking industry. That is the main objective.
Is it all about that? Because some are saying, of course, targeting Russia and Venezuela.
Yes, there is some sort of unwritten consent between Russia, I mean, the Saudis and in America, because in order to, Russian economy entirely depend on oil now, to some extent, yes.
BP is, though, saying that these prices could remain as low as $50 a barrel for the next 2 to 3 years.
I wouldn't disagree, but in a way, if the oil price goes down below 40, I'm sure that Saudi Arabia will react to it.
Yes, but if those prices stay as low as BP says, the impact on the likes of Russia, Venezuela, it's unsustainable, isn't it?
Yes, but in some way, the Russia is very careful now. I mean, I was listening to Putin was talking about a month ago. In 2 years' time, they want to really get oil industry out of, the dependent on oil industry should be removed. He was.
In other words, diversify the economy.
Yes.
And you think that's realistic, that Putin's doing the right thing, or saying that is realistic?
It is the right things to do in some way, because Russia is a very resourceful country, human resources as well as the competency and skills, everything in there. So they have some sort of potential, they could develop all these necessary things, so they don't have to depend on foreign countries.
And just coming back to consumers here in Britain, it's what we want to see, of course, in enjoying low fuel prices. But the government obviously needs tax revenue, doesn't it, from higher oil and energy prices. So it loses out on that when it actually needs as much income as possible.
It is so. In the same time, the government has promised to cut tax, supplementary tax on the oil production. And then, if they want to really keep the employment, the main objective is to reduce the production cost of North Sea oil. How can you do it? You need to give grants for explorations.
And more job losses?
And tax credit for oil industries.
But more job losses then?
And more job losses, anyway. Apprenticeship, they're talking about apprenticeships, 2,200 apprenticeship, already depending on oil industry in Scotland.
Naz, thank you very much indeed. Naz Saleem.